true. But then there's so many people that are like, you know what? At least I'm not getting robbed of my taxes. At least I'm not getting called a bigot because I don't want 6'6" men who transitioned to being a woman last week to play against my daughter in a basketball game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is the world we're living in, where people are like, I'm going with Trump. Yeah. He's talking. Look, Kanye West is in the White House. He's not a racist. And this is where we're living now. It's this weird society that we have today, where there's so much coming at us, and you can't pay attention to all of us. And between all the pop culture nonsense and the fucking ice caps are melting, the environment, the ocean's on fire, everyone's scared of everything. And then on top of that, there's all this political stuff that's going on. You don't have time to pay attention to all of it.
In 2015, I read another book called Raising the Floor by a guy named Andy Stern, who used to run the biggest labor union in the U.S. And he said the future of labor is no labor, we're screwed, and we should move to a dividend. And so I read that and I was like, wow, it's not just the tech guys, it's the labor leader saying we need to do this. So I became convinced at that point.
When we talk about worldwide problems, what I think is what you do, the best possible thing that we can do in this country to help all these problems, every single problem that we've talked about, build a strong economy. That's the best thing you can do.
100%.
Build a business. Make people have a little bit more money.
Yes.
That's how you get it done.
You wouldn't want to do it all at once, but in our first year, we're going to make sure that money's going out to Americans so we can start studying the effects both on a family basis and also community-wide. And then over the course of my first term, we're going to phase it in for more and more Americans. Because everyone knows that if Andrew Yang is president in 2021, it's because Americans want that freedom dividend, and that's what we're going to deliver.
You get involved in a business, you start a business, you move, you help people, you build a product that people want, you build a business, you help the economy, and that is what equalizes the world more than anything else.
We never knew that capitalism was going to get eaten by its son, technology. And the fact is, capitalism is not designed to optimize our well-being. It's designed to optimize for capital efficiency. And so if technology comes along that can do work cheaper and better than we can, then capitalism loves it. And in the old days, we made all of these assumptions that what was good for capital ended up being good for us. Because if you had a big successful company, it would hire lots of workers, it would treat them well, it would care about what's happening in its home city. And now in the 21st century, those things aren't true anymore. I can start a big successful company, not hire a lot of people. If I do hire them, I can make them all temp and gig contract workers and Uber drivers and not give them benefits. And I don't care about what happens in my backyard because I'm selling to everyone. And so the fundamentals that we assume to be true about capitalism are now breaking down, and technology is the accelerant.
So we don't necessarily know where we're going to go, which means you've got to have, once again, like the open mind to say, oh, this isn't going the way we thought it was going to go. How are we going to adjust right now to prevent this from getting worse?
The first step's just get some money into people's hands. And the great thing is, if you put money into people's hands, that's going to supercharge the kind of work that people want to do, because people would choose to then start a new organization, start businesses, donate to their local org.
I have a consulting company, and I go around the country and I talk to every level in the chain of command, including the frontline troops, guys that work construction, guys that work gas oil, guys that are out, linemen that are out, manufacturing, everything. Those people, most of them, they're not out on the fringe somewhere. You know what they're thinking about? They're not thinking about what Trump's doing. They're actually thinking about, how if they're going to get to take a couple days off over their Labor Day weekend. They're thinking about, did they save enough money that they can get a new truck? That's what they're concerned about. They're not thinking about this. They're trying to live their normal lives.
So first, could not agree more that one of the biggest misconceptions is that universal basic income or the freedom dividend is somehow going to reduce work. Because number one, it recognizes a lot of the work that we're already doing that does not get recognized. And it would be an enormous catalyst to entrepreneurship, arts, creativity, nurturing, caregiving, all these things we kind of want to do that the market says it's not worth enough for you to make a living at it, so don't do it. So it would create and recognize and reward a lot of the work that we're trying to do, is number one. Number two, if you imagine what $12,000 a year would mean in a town of, let's call it 100,000 adults, you're talking about another $12 million like a month that's coming through that town. And so that doesn't just help the individuals, that supercharges the local businesses, it supercharges the local nonprofits, it supercharges the volunteer organizations. And so when you say what do the jobs of the future look like, it could be that 20 years from now, it's very normal to work in a job that just helps make other people stronger, healthier, mentally healthier, helps clean our environment. Things that right now there's no market demand for. There could actually be massive opportunities in. The problem right now is that, again, we're following capital efficiency, and it says these things are worth zero. Right. So the big change we have to make is if we change the measurements and say these things are actually worth like a lot, then that's the...
Selling those are good jobs to have.
Yeah.
Right. It's just right now those are not good jobs to have because
there's no money.
Yeah, they pay shitty and like, no one respects you. And it's like, if you do that, just be like, so that's like the evolution.
So even as the country seems so divided, you got to remember the people that we hear that are so divisive are the loudmouths on either end.
Yes.
And most people aren't getting in Twitter fights about whatever. They're not. They're out trying to make a living.
I have a social sciences background, and I really like hearing you talk about meeting the needs of people on a daily basis first before they can, grasp the other concepts like climate change and so on. There is some study on this. It's called Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
Do you know it?
Yeah, I
was
do.
going to say check it out, and it really provides backing for what you're talking about.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. There's some other research on something called scarcity, where if you have a scarcity of money or time or companionship or food, it has the net effect of lowering your rationality and IQ by 13 points or 1 standard deviation. So if you have the sneaking feeling that many of our fellow citizens are getting less reasonable and rational, we probably are, because if you introduce pervasive financial insecurity into a population, that's what the studies show would happen. And so it's related to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but it's also the scarcity research. And so it's amazing what just taking the financial insecurity off of someone's mind will do for their outlook. Let's make it happen for all Americans. Thank you all very much.